want to thank everybody for tuning to a special edition. Still is Pre-Snap. I'm Luther Dupree, joined by Hall of Famer Claudio Rosano. Got a great show planned for you guys. Make sure you give us some comments, some calls. Hopefully Jim is going to call in. I know he was at the Hall of Fame, but we'll see if he pops up. You never know with Jim. He may surprise us. But let's start with our recap. Claudio, you had this one wrong, and so did Jim. Your thoughts on the Steelers versus Rams game?
People can say, including me, anybody can say what they want about the performance on the field and all that kind of stuff. The bottom line is, did you win or did you lose? How many times as a coach or as a fan or as a player, you say, your team did great, but you lost? What do they say in baseball? You can hit 3 line drive shots and they were caught. Well, you were out. But if you hit some bloopers and they landed for singles, you got 3 hits. Did the Steelers win? They won. They're 4-2. They are who their card says they are, right? So you got to give them credit. But the other thing that popped out of my mind is, and I hate to be critical all the time, but everybody, McVay, oh my God, genius, offensive genius, and he's got the plays in front of him, and he's this and he's that. You have all those weapons, Luther, and all that time to prepare. And that's what you come up with. These guys, they say, oh, we're in the office 15 hours a day and we study film and we have all these, they don't have the reports that Harbaugh has out of Michigan. Okay. But they get all these, they know how many steps the guy takes from the sidelines to the huddle. And that's what you come up with. But you got to give them the credit. And again, I'm not going to sit here and say that TJ Watt is the greatest defensive player of all time for the Steelers like Jim. For me, I can't put him ahead of Green and Blunt or even Lambert. That's just me. But TJ Watt, man, he comes up big. You got to give him credit. I mean, the splash play, which I'm not a fan of that term, he comes up big, but the Steelers, they did what they had to do. And Najee Harris, don't give up on him yet.
Okay, all right. He had 53 yards, but the best run in the game was from Jaylen Warren on that touchdown run. He needs more than 6 carries. That's my opinion. All right, let's see who's on here. Okay, Frank Jackson in here early. Can y'all put some credit on Tomlin? Hey, I've given him credit. I've given him credit. I think he has a flawed offensive coordinator, and we're still trying to find out about Kenny Pickett. But they're getting wins, 4-2, with an offense that's ranked dead last. I think he's getting them. So I'm giving him his credit. I don't know if Claudio is going to finally give him credit, but I'm giving him credit.
They're 4-2. I've still been asking him the question, like McVay. Okay, he's the offensive guy. Okay, Tomlin's the defensive guy. I just need to know what he does. What controls is he doing? Not insulting. I'm just asking a question. So I asked Frank, tell me what he's doing.
But do we know what any of these coaches are doing, really? I mean, John Harbaugh, what is he doing?
Mm-hmm. Right. No, I'm with you.
Yeah, we really don't know. I can only go by wins and losses and what the players say. The players say they love playing for him. Ryan Clark speaks highly about him. All the players, Cam Hayward. So I'm just going by that. Terry French, what's up, Terry? Jaylen Warren is a beast. I agree. He's also in there saying a win is a win. A win is a win, Claudio. Yeah,
right.
I'll take any win. You just said
it. A win's a win.
Now, my thoughts on the game, very close game. Offensively, they struggled much of the game, but that defense just keeps them in over and over again. They're on the field. They're making plays. I know Myles Garrett is getting a lot of press, and the game he had was great, but, man, I'm telling you, TJ Watt is amazing to watch. You watch him, you watch the Steelers more to see what he does than the offense, because you know he's going to make more plays than the offense, it seems. Offense, if they make 1 or 2 big plays, that's enough because the defense is shutting teams down. Now, they got a tough one coming up with Jacksonville. I'm impressed with Jackson. They're 5-2, but they're a young team, a young quarterback. But I give a lot of credit to Tomlin and, that defense. TJ Watt is amazing. And Highsmith and those guys are playing. Cam Hayward's coming back, um, and I just like what they're doing. Cornerbacks, I'd like to see Joey Porter Jr. get in there a little more. I know tackling, he missed some tackles, but he's a young guy. He has to work on that, but I'd like to see him learn on the job and on the field because he's made some game-winning plays and just in his limited possession. The interception against Lamar Jackson, um, the fourth down stop a couple games ago. Even though I think he got away with a hole, I'll take it. Claudio, what do you have for us in your Claudio report? Claudio's huddle up.
Well, they talk about going to the West Coast, and that's hard. And the Steelers went to the West Coast, and they did what they did. They won. And again, I said a win's a win. At the end of the day, I mean, Jim Valvano used to say, "Survive in advance." You're not looking in the tournament. So you're not looking really to develop any kind of consistency. Where maybe in the NFL you are, I guess, with a 17-game schedule. But you just keep racking up wins, and you have to give the coaching staff and the players credit for doing what they did. I still would like to see Canada open it up. Okay. And I'm going to say something else too. Maybe practice Pickett and the rest of the guys aren't doing what they want them to do. But some players are game players and not practice players. Okay. So maybe he's saying, well, we're not doing enough in practice to open it up. Well, that's fine. There's a lot of pro boxers who don't do great during sparring, but they turn it up in the ring and vice versa. Open it up a little bit. You have the weapons, use them. Don't worry about practice and all that kind of stuff. You have professional athletes that obviously are a certain level of talent. Use them.
I definitely agree with that, Claudio. Definitely agree with that. My first and 10, I've been watching a lot of Colorado as everybody else has. And the importance of the offensive line. I mean, man, I feel bad for Shador, the running backs. That offensive line is going to get somebody killed. They put up a stat. It was like a score. Knockdowns, 21, sacks, 7. It was just an embarrassing performance. 2 weeks, and that's what you came up with. Very disappointed in what they put on the field. They got to do better. And that's the one thing about the Steelers. The defensive and offensive line throughout the year have gotten better. Earlier on, San Fran, and we know their defense is tough, was really whooping the offensive line, as well as Cleveland Browns. But it seems like they've righted the ship. They're doing a lot better now. And the defensive line, they don't have a lot of big names. They don't have Cam Hayward, but they're hustling. They're doing what they need to do. And despite what Smokin Jim says, Larry Ogunjobi, the hustle plays that he's doing, Benton, the rookie, I'm loving it. I think, I like what they're doing, but definitely football is won in the trenches, and they have to do that. In Colorado and Coach Prime are going to do something. They got to upgrade that. All right, let's jump in here. We got Ralph. Hello, guys. What's up, Ralph? Make sure you check out Ralph. He does a million shows. I think he probably has a show on right now, if I'm not mistaken. Our offense is getting worse with Canada. All right. Well, I mean, I think the addition of Deontay Johnson is going to help. We saw it last week. He's a guy you can throw the ball to, and he'll make plays. He runs the best routes on the team, maybe the best routes in the league. Question is he going to hold on to the ball? But he runs some great routes, and I think that Pickett to Pickens connection is just getting stronger. Hey, we got Smokin Jim. He finally came in. What's up, Jim?
Hey, what's happening, Lou? My fault, man. I was driving back from Philly in this rain. I thought it was off this morning, so I didn't check in. But I'm ready to go.
You ready to go? All right. Well, Jim, since we got you on here, what is your take on what's your first? Well, let's jump back. How about your take on the Rams? You took another L on this one, right, Jim?
On the Rams, yes, sir.
Yeah. Yes, you and Claudio took an L. I took a win. This is why I'm the prophet, and you guys just keep losing. But what were your thoughts on that, Smokin Jim? The game.
Yeah, it was. It was a very good game, man. Like Coach Tomlin always say, he's not going to apologize for a win. I thought the Rams did a nice job as well. Either team could have won that game. They was able to neutralize, Aaron Donald, and they came away with a victory, man. So they put themselves in a great position right now with 3 straight home games.
Yeah. So, all right, appreciate that. Now, what do you have for your 1st and 10, Smokin Jim?
Well, I tell you what, Lou, I always like to say where I was right, where Smokin Jim was right, and where I was wrong. Again, I was right. If anybody took a look at Jordan Addison, he'd have been a great fit here in Pittsburgh. And where I was wrong, where I thought I was wrong, was Eric Bieniemy. After the first 2 games, I thought maybe Eric Bieniemy was a good fit out there in Washington, but it looked like he's going to get fired along with the entire Washington Redskins coaching staff. So where I thought I was wrong, Eric Bieniemy.
Jim, listen now. I want to jump on now. Eric Bieniemy, he has a rookie quarterback, a bad offensive line, and the coaching staff. That was a bad move. He should have stayed with the Chiefs. The Chiefs miss him. Despite what everybody said, their offense hasn't looked the same since he left, and he had that Washington offense moving for a while. But after a while, it's about talent as well.
If he'd have stayed with the Chiefs, Taylor Swift could have signed his bald head.
Jim, that's terrible. I'm Taylor Swift out.
You make a good point, Lou. I don't care how great the coach is, or it helps, obviously. You have to have the horses.
Yes, sir.
That not only that have the talent, but that have the attitude, that want to play. You can, again, end of story. You have to have the horses. And Luther, to your point back with Colorado, I've said it on your show, Steel City Sports World. I've said it everywhere. Everybody talks the quarterback. The most important positions on the field are offensive line. Why? Because it helps the passing game, helps the running game. If it helps the passing game and the running game, it links into the defense. Okay. Offensive line. It allows everybody else to do their job.
Yeah, you're right. And I said we covered the Westinghouse High School versus the UPrep championship game for the city. And what makes Westinghouse so great is their offensive line. They have the best line in the city and one of the best lines in 2A football, man. Those guys are hungry. They get after it. Big, strong, nasty. And they open up holes, keep their quarterback clean. You can win a lot of games just by having those dogs up front. And you can get your quarterback killed, which Colorado is doing. Shedeur Sanders, man, if he keeps getting hit like this, he may not make it to a bowl game because that's
Luther,
bad. Yeah, Jim.
Hey, Luther. Just 2 things real quick. I know Claudio agrees with me when I said that Bieniemy never should have left the Kansas City Chiefs. That's on Bieniemy. He'll get fired. He'll never get another coordinator job. But here's something you and Claudio will disagree with me on. Maybe one of the best offensive lines I've ever seen in my life is Colorado's offensive line.
What?
They just don't have anybody. They don't have anybody that can coach it. If you look at that offensive line, I tell you what, Luther, that's an NFL offensive line all day. Them's the Hogs. Them's the modern day Hogs.
What?
They just don't have an offensive line coach to coach them up, man. That line. That line could be the one. If they get an offensive line coach, that could be one of the most dominant lines in college football history.
Jim.
Take a look at the film on that line, man. I cannot believe Deion Sanders blew it by not bringing in. He brought in every coach under the sun, including LeBron James, who entertained his son and that other receiver at the
No,
basketball game.
Travis Hunter, not the other receiver. Travis Hunter, who had 2 amazing picks yesterday.
That guy, the little brother, Travis Hunter.
Oh my God!
But
Jim,
yeah, that offensive line is outstanding.
Jim,
all they have to do is get an offensive line coach. Who's the offensive line coach, Lou? I bet you can't name him. I bet you can't name him.
He's unnameable because he needs to be fired. He should be fired immediately. Jim, listen, I got to apologize to all the visitors. Jim was obviously smoking that narcotic again. To say an insane statement like that the Colorado guys, none of those guys are going pro, Jim, and you know it. They don't have a chance. Those guys are big and slow. You know, I watched UCLA just come off the line, just not even get touched. Those guys are still sitting in position. None of those guys are going pro, Jim. These are all outcasts from other teams. Those guys will not start next year. Those guys do not have pro potential. It's not the coaching. They don't have the skills. No, Jim. Come on, you're not going to sell that.
To his point about Bieniemy, when you have those kind of tools, Mahomes and the rest of that offense, it makes calling plays fun.
True.
You can be adventurous. You can be creative when you got guys like that. And then what happens when you put up all those points and play pinball football? You look great. Then all of a sudden you go to somewhere who doesn't have those tools, and all of a sudden you're not a genius anymore. You know, so I agree with Jim. Bieniemy should have stayed, not unless there was some internal things going on, and maybe he thought he wanted more credit. I don't know what happened, but maybe he should have stayed.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I said, I agree. Listen, when he left, I said, why would he go there? I understand you wanted to try to get out of Andy Reid's shadow, but it's all about where you go. You can't just go anywhere. You know, Washington was a dumpster fire. We knew this year Ron Rivera and all those guys were gone. Young quarterback, young offensive line. It's Washington. I don't care if Magic bought the team. They don't have the horses right now. Maybe they will down the line, but right now they don't have it. And that was a bad move. I agreed with that. I said it when he made it. I said, I don't think that's a good move because he doesn't have the quarterback. He doesn't have the players. But, we'll see. Let's jump into these comments. Mario Tempest, great show, man. Appreciate it. Jason Thomas, Kenny Pickett is getting better. All right, Jason Thomas. Is Jim drinking and driving? Colorado line is garbage. Well, I definitely agree with that. I don't know what Jim is looking at. He must have missed a few games because I don't see any guys that have a chance to go to the league. Hey, as time is getting away from us, let's jump in here. Let's look at the Steelers O versus the Jaguars D. Starting first, Claudia, what are your thoughts? Who has the advantage and why?
Both of these teams mirror image. I think they may have the same game plan. If you said Steelers O against Jaguars D,
yes, sir.
Okay, I think they're going to do a lot of quick slants. Pickett, get rid of the ball quick. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I think they're going to get rid of the ball quick and look for Austin to have a bigger game than normal today. But when you do that, in my opinion, I think you're going against what you really want to do, and that's establish the run. When you do quick passes, quick hits, that clogs up the middle, and that makes it harder for the backs to have some openings, right? Instead of going it, having them respect that you're going to go deeper, so it opens things up. So I don't know how much that's going to work. So offensively, and I'll get to obviously the Jacksonville Jaguars offense in a little bit. I don't expect the Steelers to put up big numbers today, points-wise, but I think that's what they're going to try to do. Quick passes. Maybe they don't feel Pickett will have enough time to go deep or whatever the case is. But to repeat, quick passes, get rid of the ball quick, but that'll clog up the middle, which won't help the backs.
Okay. Smokin Jim, what you have? Steelers O versus the Jaguars D.
Well, I just like the Jaguars all the way around because they're what I call a seasoned team. This is a team that spent 2 weeks in London. They didn't cry. and bellyache like the Pittsburgh Steelers and some other teams would have done and made excuses. They just went out there and handled business. They got off to an awfully slow start. I think defensively, the Pittsburgh Steelers can take advantage of a few things with Jacksonville, but unfortunately, it's a rainy day, which does not suit a quarterback with small hands.
Yeah, you back on the small hands. They're going to be running the ball.
So I will give the advantage to the Jacksonville defense over the Pittsburgh Steelers offense today.
I can add real quick. I think the Steelers. Jim's got a point with that too, with the hands. Believe it or not, if I were the Steelers, I would with a target number, 150 yards rushing with Warren and Harris. That would be my goal. And another thing, and they did it with a play last week, and I've been saying it since Harris got here. Lawrence McCutcheon for the LA Rams, 73 to 77. Yes, he gained 1,000 yards a year rushing, but he also used to catch the ball in the backfield, not for 3 yards or 5 yards, 13 yards, 27 yards. Throw the ball to Harris. He's a good good receiver out of the backfield. They have to do that.
All right, I hear you on that one, Claudio. Listen, I'm going to give the advantage. I think the Steelers can have some running lanes against the Jaguars D. I think Harris can have his biggest game of the year, and I think Warren. I'd like to see him split carries. I've been saying it all year. Maybe 10 apiece. I think Warren has earned it. He's more explosive. He's hitting the hole faster, and when he gets in there and runs, Najee comes and starts running even harder. So I'd like to see 10 and 10. I think they could have 100 yards rushing combined against this Jaguars D. They have some injuries. They're not playing as well. And we saw the Saints, almost come back against them. I'm going to give the advantage to the Steelers. Oh, let's jump to their phone lines before we get to the next section.
Hey, Lou, real quick. Can Jaylen Warren handle that $50,000 fine?
Oh.
That might be crippling.
Yeah, that fine was horrible. Hopefully he's able to appeal it and win, because I didn't see why that was justified when I saw the play. Terry French wrote us a novel. Jacksonville defense ranks at the bottom 8 in the NFL in both passing TDs and passing yards allowed. So we need to come out throwing, not just on 3rd and 8, on 1st and 2nd downs, downfield in the middle of the field, and especially in the red zone. We got Pickens and Johnson both healthy. Time to play 2023 NFL football. Well, if we had a real offensive coordinator, maybe we could, Terry. I'm not sold. Jason Thomas Steelers can get loose against Jags. All right. Smokin been wrong all year. He been wrong all year about Steelers. Yeah, Jim, you haven't picked the Steelers to win many games, so you got to lose a record when it comes to the Steelers, I think. But how about moving to the other side of the field? How about the Steelers D versus the Jaguars O? Start with you first, Smokin Jim. What are your thoughts?
Jaguar, listen, Lawrence, one of the best, high school, college quarterbacks of all time. 5-star there, 5-star here, 5-star in the NFL. This is a guy that's just a phenom. I like the way he handles his business. He's a professional. He doesn't get too high with the highs or low with the lows. This guy had a bad knee last week. You would never know it because he ran and did what he had to do to win the football game for his team. So we have a modern day, Joe Namath, Joe Montana on one side, and that's going to be the advantage. For some reason, you seem to like Najee Harris this week, Lou. You kind of flip-flopping. But I know you would have liked if the Steelers would have drafted ATM from Clemson, his running mate at college, his running mate at Florida. And that's a guy that's, you talk about somebody that can catch it and run.
Najee can catch it and run.
The injury.
Najee can catch it and run, but he doesn't have an offensive coordinator.
Yeah, but you don't seem to like it.
No, I just think I think Jaylen Warren has been a better fit. He's been more explosive hitting these holes.
Do you like
Oh yeah. Etienne is nice. He was great. He was great at.
Agree with me.
He
That's
was.
what I said. You would like that running back, and the Steelers almost drafted him. But fortunately for him, he's with Jacksonville. He's with a great quarterback and a great offense. So I get the advantage to Jacksonville's offense.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Etienne is a great young running back. I mean, he's very explosive. You didn't mention Christian Kirk either. He's a very underrated receiver. Went to Arizona. Here he's making more plays. He won the game last week with an exciting 40-yard run. They're going to have to get him under control. Very shifty, very fast. I remember him at A&M. When he started out. So yeah, I like the Steelers D against mostly any offense. Jacksonville's going to put up some points, but I think we're going to do enough with T.J. Watt and Highsmith to kind of rattle Trevor Lawrence. I think we can get a pick out of him. Like you said, his knees bothered him. He has a couple guys on the offensive line that are hurting. Joey Porter, I think he's going to be able to shut down one of their guys. Zay Jones, one of their top wide receivers, is out this game. So that helps us as well. And I need Minkah Fitzpatrick to come back and make plays. He's trying to do so much. Really our leading tackler. I look for him to have a pick against Trevor Lawrence today. And I don't care what you say, Cole Holcomb and those boys in the middle of the defense have improved game and game after. I like Holcomb. I like Roberts. He's a hitter. Those guys are playing. Kwan Alexander, I'm loving what they're bringing to it. So I give the slight advantage to the Steelers D at home. They're going to have the crowd behind them. T.J. Watt is going to be coming. He's just setting all kind of records right now, destroying record books. I'm not going to go as far as you, Jim, and say he's the greatest Steeler player in history, but he's on a Hall of Fame pace. It's just a pleasure to watch that man play because he's going to bring it and give 100%, man. And Highsmith is right behind him. Let's jump to the phone lines real quick. Okay, Terry, again, it comes down to the defense. Can we stop Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne? Can the pass rush get to Lawrence, and can we stop the run? And Jason Thomas says Trevor Lawrence is very overrated. Very overrated? I don't know. All right, what do you have, Claudia? What are your thoughts about the Steelers O versus the Jaguars D?
I think it's the offense versus the Jaguars against Steelers D.
Sorry. Yeah. Jaguars offense, Steelers D. Yes.
Both sides, it's going to be who has the better linebacker play if they do what I think with the quick passes. I'm going to give it to the Steelers. Now, I like Etienne, but I think the past 4 games or so, 4 out of 5 games, he's averaged under 4 a carry. Now, I like Kirk. I like the other receiver, Calvin. What was it? Redley, something like that. He's a nice receiver too. But it'll be yards after catch with the receivers today. Again, I like the linebackers, but not to jump too far ahead, Luth. I think that both offenses are going to be at a stalemate because of the defenses. I'm going to give the Steelers linebackers the advantage. I think the key today is who's going to have the better special team play. The punter versus punter. Harvin versus Cook. Who's going to have a better day? And the big factor is going to be who's going to be a better field goal kicker, Boswell or McManus. And I think hands down it will be Boswell, which we'll get into predictions, scores in a minute. So I know I bled into the special teams there. I'm going to give the Steelers linebackers the advantage over Jacksonville's offense. I think they're going to stop Etienne. He's a nice back, but I like him. I don't expect there to be a lot of yards after catch. I think I just don't see it. Lawrence, he's a nice quarterback, good quarterback. Jim makes a good point. All these years, he's been a stud quarterback. I don't know, and I do like Peterson as a head coach as well. But I'm going to give the Steelers defense over the Jacksonville offense today, and 2 teams that are not going to score a lot of points today.
Okay, all right. Last thing before we get to game predictions, because we're almost out of time. Coaching advantage. Smokin Jim, I'll start with you. Who do you give the coaching advantage to?
How soon people forget when I picked the Houston Texans to beat the heck out of the Steelers. I think I was the only one in Pittsburgh to predict that. But I give the coaching advantage to Jacksonville. They have an offensive guru at their coaching position. And again, as much as I love Coach Tomlin,
I can't tell
with the rapper Gorilla. You know what I mean? I still don't know what Coach Tomlin done.
You don't know what any of these coaches do.
So I get the advantage. I get the advantage to Jacksonville.
All right. How about you, Claudio? You kind of touched on it earlier. Coaching advantage.
Coaching advantage. I'm going with Jacksonville.
Peterson. All right. Yeah. Coaching advantage. Both good coaches. Tomlin's at home, has a great home record in this game. I'm going to give the coaching advantage to Tomlin. I think they'll be able to do some things to slow down Jacksonville. It'll be a wet, rainy day, a wet ball. I think they'll be able to shut down Etienne. For the most part, I still say he'll have about 70 yards, but hopefully they can avoid the big runs and get after Trevor Lawrence. I think they'll be able to do some things. Hopefully, offensively, they'll be able to do some things as well. All right, so let's see. Jumping back to the comments real quick. Steelers D is playing lights out. What the hell y'all talking about? Y'all saying? All right, Frank. Jason Thomas, D is going to rattle Trevor. He might get put out. Ooh. Tomlin has the coaching advantage for Jason Thomas. All right. Listen, let's get into our game prediction. Claudia, what are your predictions on this game? I see your friendly cat wants to join the show as well.
Friendly cat says 22-17 Pittsburgh. It's going to be a lot of field goals. Boswell, in my opinion, is the best in the business. Harvin, I expect him to have a good game. It's going to be all come down to special teams. 22-17 Pittsburgh.
Okay. All right. Remember the last time you selected the Steelers, I think we lost, Claudia.
I know.
All right, jumping to the phone lines real quick. Terry, last week I said the Steelers would win the next 4. 1 down. This is number 2. 23-21 Steelers. All right, Terry's on a roll. Smokin Jim, game prediction. I already know where he's headed.
Well, I give Terry credit. The Steelers got one of the easiest schedules I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, boy, here you go.
I would say Jacksonville's going to come in with a little bit of Notre Dame.
That was bad.
I think they're going to pound. I think they're going to pound the Pittsburgh Steelers. Jacksonville's very focused. I look for maybe 35-14.
Okay. All right. Let's jump to the phone to the lines real quick. Jim State hating on Tomlin. Damn shame. All right. Frank says Steelers 20-17. Okay. I'm going to go my prediction. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. This weather is going to change a lot of things, so not a lot of passing. It's going to come down to the running game, and I think the Steelers are going to be able to run the ball for the first time really well this game. I'm calling a Steelers 17-16 and a nail biter again. I think the weather condition is really going to help them. 17-16 Steelers win. So we'll see. And real quick, I just want to do one. Sit or start with the quarterbacks. Kenny Pickett, would you sit or start him this game? Claudia.
You know better than that to ask me.
It's a sit every week for you. I know that. How about you, Jim? Sit or start? Kenny Pickett.
I would start Dan Moore. One of the best games I've ever seen a left tackle play last week.
Gosh.
And I would sit Kenny Pickett.
Trevor Lawrence. Smokin Jim. Sit or start?
Start.
Claudia, sit or start?
Start.
Yeah, I'm going to say start. I think he'll have a decent game. I do think he's going to throw a pick, though. All right. What about the Jaguars defense? sit or start them if you have to use them as a defense? Claudio?
I'm going to say start them because I am saying it's a relatively low scoring game.
Okay. Jim?
Start.
All right.
And I'm
Yes.
the
Go ahead.
pick. I'm going to predict a deflection pick. Pick is going to throw something in the middle, pop it. They're going to catch it. I get specific. I'm not like Jim and you get general. I'm specific.
All right. Real quick. George Pickens, sit or start? Claudia, you sitting or starting him?
Hey, use them right. You start him every week. I'm going to say start him.
Okay. Okay. All right, Jim?
Well, I see Joey Porter bagged his way out of this game again today. It's raining, so Joey don't want to play.
He's injured, Jim. He's hurting.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned earlier he was going to have a good game. Now you say he's injured.
And he's still he was hurting. I thought he still was going to play. He's going to try. I thought he was questionable.
Yeah, it's raining.
Oh, come on, Jim.
I would start the diva. Like I said, he's more trouble than he's worth. He's a great receiver, but he's a cancer in the locker room, a cancer in the huddle, out all the time when he don't get the football. But if he's on your team, you got to start him.
Yeah, I say start him. He's really got a connection going with Kenny Pickett right now, so I say start him as well. All right, fellas, look, there's one more comment we got to get to. Jason Thomas. Jim loves slandering the black players. I agree. If there's a brother to be slandered, Jim will find him. That's for sure. Hey, listen, I want to thank all the guys, everybody who tuned in, man. All the comments. Terry French is always big in here. Jason Thomas. Mario came in here. I think Frank Jackson. Listen, we got our predictions out here. Watch the game. Make sure you check out the website, scsportsworld.com. Get you some gear. We got the best gear on the planet, the best TV show on the planet. And we look forward to seeing you guys next week. Look forward to getting back in the studio. Everybody have a great week. Enjoy the game. And we'll check you out next time. Peace and have a great, great, great Sunday.